Tonight we're doing a Smart Moves presentation, and just wanted to share information with those. Basically what we're saying is professionals that are in transition. We know there's a lot going on in the marketplace with people deciding not to go back to work, or companies making requirements with the vaccination and forcing people to decide either they're going to stay with that company or leave, or other companies might be closing down or what have you, or you may be just ready to just leave the marketplace and start thinking about retirement. So, all of those are different transition points, and they bring different opportunities for how that may impact your future plans for retirement. And so we wanted to share some information just in regards to that type of situation. So I'm Kim Weaver, principal at Crown Jewel Financial Services, and Sean Weaver is also, that's my husband and partner in this. I'll let him introduce himself as well. And he's going to be presenting tonight just on various ways that you can protect what you value most, and really more specifically talking about smart moves that we can take with planning for basically financial independence. So whether you're 30, 40, 50, 60, we're all wanting to get to that point of financial independence where we're no longer waiting on a paycheck. We have enough accumulated, or we have multiple streams coming in to provide for comfortable living without having to punch in and go to work. And so, you call that retirement or financial independence or whatever term, but I think that's something that we're all striving for. And Sean can share some things on smart moves to take in that direction. And I'll let Roxy, I believe, invited a lot of you here tonight. So I appreciate her doing that and giving us an opportunity to share with you. Roxy, if you want to say anything, and then, we can kind of turn it over to Sean and go from there.
Well, all I would say is that you hit each group, and the ladies on the call know that I've been having conversations just about that whole notion of us not really thinking and preparing. We're just kind of going along, working, and when we get to a point, it's sort of like, oh, I've gotten this thus far. Have I thought about retirement? Can I retire? How does that look? And that we need to just educate ourselves, and with that education, do what we need to do to be able to take care of ourselves moving forward. And so I'm just glad that they're willing to hear the information regardless. I just think information is power, and it helps to inform, and we do what makes sense for our personal well-being. So take it away, Sean. Thanks, guys, for being on.
Wow. Thank you, Roxy and Kim, and for everyone that's actually on the webinar, particularly those of you who are with Cardinal. You are blessed to have a Roxy close to you on your team, however you guys communicate, because Roxy has a wealth of information. She calls me her mentor, or us her mentor. We've really poured into her. And what I love about Roxy is she doesn't just hear the information, she actually applies the information to her situation. A lot of times we get a lot of information for retirement or savings or accumulating or investing, but oftentimes we never really pull the trigger for whatever the reason. But Roxy has pulled the trigger. She's comfortable with what she's doing, and she's learning more so that she can share the wealth of information with whomever will listen. So again, Roxy, thank you for being coachable and not chokeable. No. But I'm really just excited to kind of share some information with you all this evening. I think Kim really said it very well in terms of the various things that are happening in our country, in our society. And we've just got to get to the point where, regardless of what's going on, we're protected, our family's protected, our income's protected. And we can do that. We don't have to put our futures in the government's hands. We don't have to put our futures in corporations or corporate America. if we do some things that we're going to share tonight, we will be fine. And that's the biggest thing, protecting your jewels, what matters most to you. So this is going to be informal. If you have questions, you can raise your hands or come off mute or whatever, but we just want to share, maybe 30 minutes or so, what we think can be a blessing to you as you are, as Kim said, in some type of transition. Okay. All right, let me move this screen here. Now, just from our philosophy, if you will, this is the wealth pyramid. And what we do, as Kim said, I am Sean Weaver. I'm her husband. And I've been in this industry, wow, over a decade. And so that's interesting in itself. But as I said, we help our clients to protect and leverage their most valuable assets. That's your life, your health, and really your wealth. Most times we don't talk about wealth. Most times people don't even think about wealth in this particular fashion. But we want you to achieve financial security and peace of mind. So whatever they do at Cardinal or wherever you're going or whatever, you are secured in your finances. And to the left or to the right, you see what I call the wealth pyramid. It's actually inside a circle, and that circle really represents your living trust. And so we want you to begin a living legacy, so that when you are living your life and you've retired, you still have long-term cash as well as long-term care. So whatever comes up, you are financially able to deal with that. And then once you've lived that life, you could pass it on to your children's children in the form of a legacy plan. But in order to do this, you have to have a wealth mindset. Oftentimes we have a debt mindset. And the reason I say that, we concentrate or focus on paying bills as opposed to building wealth. And so this wealth pyramid shows you the importance of, having good credit, and the proper way to save, and the importance of saving. And then from a foundational level, your asset protection, that's your insurance, and having your own real estate, whether you're living in it or having real estate for investments. And then from there, the stocks and the equity market, and then from there, businesses. And the reason we say have your own business, because you can add more tax deductions when you have your own business and you begin living your life out of your legal entity. And so this is really our concept that we move and teach our clients from. Okay, why do we do this? Why do I do this? And this slide will really kind of give you a snapshot. Adults 65 and over spend on an average nearly about $46,000 a year in retirement. That's whether you're married or single. And then the other reality is you only receive about $14,000 on average from Social Security. And now the question becomes, if you're saving in 2018, and in fact, this is the latest of this last piece on this slide, 2019, more than 33% of American adults have no retirement savings at all. So most Americans are really hoping that Uncle Sam will continue to pay for their retirement. And we don't want to be in that category. In fact, we want to get Uncle Sam out of our pockets as quickly as we can. And as I said, the reason why I do this is because a lot of my clients came to me, older clients, and were like, hey, they were afraid of running out of money in retirement. And because of that, they started pinching and not living the life that they wanted to live. And I said, I needed to do something. So obviously we started dealing with people at a younger age and putting them on a smart strategy that will help them when they are ready to retire, that they will have that long-term cash that they will not outlive. But there are some threats that prevent us from building wealth. The first one is ignorance. There's a scripture that says our people are destroyed because of a lack of knowledge. Then, you have a silent partner that's really not so silent in your living entity, and that's the IRS. they're going to get their money 30 to 40% or whatever that will be when you're ready to take retirement. And then interest charges and the instability of the market, inadequate life insurance, and inflation. I don't know if you've recognized, but the cost of bread and eggs have gone up in the last 3 or 4 months because of the rate of inflation. Things are going up. And so the question is, will your money in retirement have the same purchasing power as it does now? Okay. And so because of that, we have what we call a SMART strategy. And one of the SMART strategies that we employ is the whole issue of the power of indexing. And I'll just kind of give you an example of that here, and then we'll talk a little more about it. But, most people, even at Cardinal and people who are saving for retirement, 90% of the people are saving for retirement are saving through their company's 401ks, 403bs, your 457s. And all those are just really tax codes that tells you how Uncle Sam's gonna tax your money. But generally, it's in a stock, it's in maybe a stock portfolio, in a series of mutual funds, now ETFs. And generally, the reason why we're investing or saving in these types of vehicles is because we want some level of a high rate of return. But we know anytime you're dealing with high rates of returns, there's also the risk of loss. And so if you had money in your 401k back in 2008, you may have seen a 30 to 40% loss because of the mortgage bubble bursting. And then last March, it was maybe a 35% decrease. And so what happened, a lot of times people took their money out of the market for safety reasons, and they put them in bonds, CDs, money markets, and even savings accounts. And the real reason was because of the low risk. But the flip side to low risk is low returns or no growth. And so as you can see, there's a tremendous void between the two. And the power of indexing literally gives you the best of both worlds. It gives you the upside market potential with the downside protection. And that is the index strategy, or utilizing some type of index products. And I'll just show you kind of what that looks like. We have a flagship product called the Smart Fund that uses this SMART strategy, the power of index. And so, for instance, you see on the screen the orange line, right? The orange line represents the S&P 500. And these are the top 500 companies in America. This is your Google, your AT&T, those types of companies. And so if you had $100,000 that you invested in the market in 1998, you see immediately you got some gains in 99, and then 2000, 2001 to 2002, you lost about 40% of your income or your growth. And that was due to the tech bubble burst and the 9/11, a lot of things that were going on in our country. And then it started to rise again. In fact, people who were retiring in 1999, they had to wait 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost 8 years to get back to where they were because of the loss in the market, only to find out that the market crashed again in 2008 with what I told you earlier, the mortgage bubble burst. And then it's been growing tremendously up until now, going very well. In fact, the blue line represents the power of indexing. And I think this is very important because with the power of indexing, you're not actually in the market. You're getting credited based on what the market does. So in this case, when the market went up, you didn't get all of the gains of the market. You may have been capped or whatever, but when the market goes south, you just stay the same. So now here in 2002, which line would you rather be on? Would you rather be on the 71,000 or the 108,000? Imagine if you needed to take some money out to pay for your children's school, and you knew you had $100,000, but now it's at 71,000. as opposed to 108,000. This is the power of indexing. And then we see the market starts to rise again, only to fall. Now, again, which line would you rather be on? $73,000 to $145,000. What if you needed to buy our home and you wanted to borrow some of your money? Well, here, if this is your 401k, if you wanted to borrow, say, 50,000, that's over half of your savings, only to get a 10% penalty if you're not 59 and a half and pay taxes on that money. So this is a smart way of literally accumulating assets or growing your money that's safe, risk-free of the market volatility, and you'll see the gains. And we see here in 2019, it came real close to the orange line surpassing the blue line. In fact, it got all the way up there till March 31st, 2020. Again, that's when the market took another lump. And now the orange line is 210,000 to 268,000. Again, with the indexing strategy, you never have to worry about coming out of a hole. You never have to lose more money again. That's the powerful thing, particularly when you're looking at transitioning to another company or what have you. What would you do with your assets? These are some opportunities that we will talk a little more about. So I'll give you another example of the power of indexing. I think most of you probably have 401ks. Can you just type yes if you have a 401k in the screen, so I'll know, we'll know. But this is the 401k, right? And one thing that you have to deal with the 401k is market risk. We just showed you the orange line going up and down like you're at Carowinds on a roller coaster, right? So you have market risk. You also have the 59 and a half rule, kind of just talked about that. If you wanted to take some money out of your 401k prior to you turning 59 and a half, there's a 10% penalty and you still have to pay taxes. And then not only that, now there's a Rule 72. Rule 72 require minimum distributions. By the time you're 72, if you have not begun taking distributions from your 401k, Uncle Sam's going to tell you, you need to take some money out. If you don't, we're going to penalize you 50%. Okay, so that's the other one. And then you have the whole income tax. So I always ask clients, really have access, who really owns your money? Is it you or is it someone else? If it's already risky for you to be there, then for you to borrow against it, it's a 59.5% rule. There's a penalty. And if you don't borrow it before you're 72, there's another penalty. And when you're ready to take distribution, you've got to pay your silent partner. Whose money is it? And that's why I said earlier, you want to get Uncle Sam out of your pockets as quickly as possible. All right. So this is the smart fund. This is the smart approach that we're talking about. The beautiful thing about the smart fund is that there's no market risk. Again, it's indexed with the market. It goes up based on what the market does, but because it's not necessarily in the market, it doesn't have to receive the market loss. There's no 59.5 rule. You can pull money out for whatever reasons without any taxes or any penalties. There's no 72 rule. And guess what? There's no income tax because you've already paid taxes on the money prior to it going in. And you'd have to ask yourself, would you rather pay taxes on the seed or would you rather pay taxes on the harvest? Would you rather pay taxes on $10,000 or would you rather pay taxes on $1 million? And 99% of the people I ask, they usually say the seed. And that's probably the best answer. But the reality is we go against our conventional wisdom, even with the 401k, because your 401k tax not on the seed, but when you're ready to take distributions, once all of your tax deductions and tax, what's the term, Kim? Your tax withholdings your tax credits and different things of that nature. Your house is paid for, so you can't use that. The kids are out, you can't use them as deductions. Now, how many of you believe that taxes will be higher in the next 10 to 15 years than they are today? Put it in chat if you think it's higher or lower. All right, I see somebody answered yes earlier. Cool. But the chances are, I mean, think about it. Somebody's got to pay for these shots, the COVID, all these different, the $1.3 trillion that they're trying to do here. Somebody's got to pay for it. And generally, it's usually middle America, correct? And so right now, taxes is probably as low as they'll ever be. And so that's why the Smart Fund comes into play. All right, let's see. Now, this is, I'm sure you'll concur with this. Most people don't really know how to prioritize the various components of a successful financial plan because, I have kids, I got to pay for college. I'm trying to buy a home ownership. I want to make sure that my health is good, medical expenses, or even untimely death. And so what we tell people with the Smart Fund, you don't have to be concerned about that. We'll help you prioritize those things with one particular product. And that's the engine of the IUL, which is our Smart Fund. Okay. And what happens is your money is actually accumulating and it's growing during the life of your premiums or your investments. And now you can pull those monies out, as I said, even if you're before 59 and a half with no penalties, to pay for college tuition, to pay for a down payment on another home, start a business, or even help supplement your retirement. So for instance, if you have $500,000 in retirement and you're ready to start taking distributions and you have a 40% tax bill, that's $200,000 that's automatically taken from your $500,000, leaving you with $300,000. If you had something to supplement that, that would be a tremendous help for your retirement. And this is a vehicle that can help you with that as well. Okay, so I want to close with this and then we'll open up with some questions. But this is the tale of two brothers, could have been sisters, but in this case, it's two brothers. They're both 35 years old. They're both married, have two children, and are saving the same amount of money, earning the same 8% interest for the same period, okay? And so brother A, he believes in the old way of doing things. He's putting money in a qualified account, 401k, and he's receiving tax deductions, and he'll pay his taxes later. Brother B says, I believe in the new school, the new way. I'm going to save for retirement in a non-qualified plan and receive a tax-free retirement later. Now, who made the best decision? Okay, so here we go. $6,500 is contributed to his 401k, brother A. The employer is matching $1,050, and he has a term policy that he's putting in $680 for a $600,000 term insurance for 30 years. All right. Brother B says, okay, I'm not contributing to my 401k. I'm not interested in the company match. I'm going to put in out of my income $7,200 a year, and that'll give me about a $600,000 Smart Fund or IUL. We'll talk more about that. Okay, who made the right decision? Who made the right decision? Let's see. Brother A believed that he was going to be fine, so now he's ready. 25 years later, he's ready to take income, and he wants $97,000 a year. Now he's going to have to withdraw $129,000 because of the taxes, and that's about $32,335. In 9 years, at age 74, brother A runs out of money. And as I told you, many of my clients came to me with the same fear of running out of money in retirement. Well, this is the reason, because you're paying your silent partner every time you're taking your distributions. And he's taken a crack, no pun intended, at your nest egg every time you take a distribution. Now, on the other hand, Brother B, he took $97,000 out as well, but this was tax-free, and he did it from a loan perspective. So he had zero taxes. And if Brother B died at age 100 after living his life of abundance, that $97,000 every year for the rest of his life, he would have received about $3.4 million, and his family would have received $3 million, both free of income taxes. So which one would you prefer to be, Brother A or Brother B, or Sister A or Sister B? We think this is a smart approach. This is a smart strategy, and it goes against our conventional wisdom. Where it goes actually right in line with our conventional wisdom, but we just haven't had any tools to help us do this. And so this is one way that you can begin accumulating additional income for your retirement so that you will not outlive that in your retirement. Okay, so which plan makes you feel more financially secure? A or B? Type it in for me real quick. All right. So now look at this. After 30 years, Brother A had $858,000. The term was up because it was a 30-year term. So now he doesn't have in term insurance, and in order for him to get some more insurance, look at that, it's going to cost him $12,000 a year to replace that. Okay, then he has $65,000 cumulative tax savings, $858,000 total retirement. So this is really just further down the line here. And as you can see, Brother B kind of wins out again. Or you may say, well, he really doesn't win out because Brother A has $850,000 worth of total retirement savings, and Brother B only has $709,000. But we didn't talk about taxes. So when you take those taxes out, that money changes tremendously. So it's not really how much you make, it's really how much you get to keep. And we show you the strategies that you can keep more money so that you can live off of, as well as retire off of, as well as leave a legacy to your children's children. That's the strategy that we want to implore. And one thing about us is that, everyone has the goal perhaps to retire, but there are many roads to get you there. Your situation may be different from the next person on this call. So we tailor our approach based on your needs, your goals, and your financial objectives, and we'll help you all along the way to make sure you reach your goals. But what are your financial goals? I mean, is it funding a child's education? Is it trying to understand exactly what I need to do with my money now because Cardinal is going somewhere else? Is it building a legacy? Is it providing income for life? Whatever it is, if you're trying to maximize or prepare for retirement, whatever it is, it's important that you have someone to kind of come alongside you and provide you with information, with coaching, with strategies that will help you reach whatever those financial goals are. And so if that's something that you're interested in and having more, I guess, intimate conversations about your own individual plan, we would love to sit down and have a conversation with you. You can reach me via email at sean@crownjewelfs.com. That's my number on the screen. And you can visit us at our website as well at fs.com. So really, I think that's it at this particular point. I would love just to kind of open up the floor just to answer any questions or thoughts that you may have at this particular time.